If you're a guy like George McIntyre, you have got to be licking your chops with what this Tennessee class is putting together at the skill positions and possibly protecting his backside. This is Frank Brock, the House of Orange Sports Channel. Tennessee gets, to me, a monumental, huge recruiting boost tonight, as the speculation has been out there all week, but it was confirmed tonight. I've seen it on VolQuest. I've seen it on 24/7 as well. Austin Price uh, talked with and reported Grant Ramey put the article out. Ryan Callahan, 24/7 Sports, has the article out as well. David Sanders Jr. will visit Tennessee this weekend. They will get his final visit. Now, he will visit Nebraska as well, but Tennessee gets the final visit. I cannot state, I think, in this recruitment how huge that this is. Now, we look at it from all the talk recently has been it's between Tennessee, Ohio State, Nebraska, Georgia. It's kind of thought that Georgia and possibly Nebraska were afterthoughts, but from what I've seen Austin Price make the comment Nebraska is sneaky in this. Now, before we say why Nebraska, if we think back years, Nebraska, Tennessee, late 90s, early 2000s, Nebraska was one of the premier programs in college football. Much like Tennessee, they've fallen on hard times for years. Matt Rule is trying to rebuild that program. And, from what I've gathered, I've seen somebody speculate on when Rule was at Carolina with the Panthers, that there may have been some kind of relationship with Sanders from there. I've seen the speculation about NIL being a part of it. Now, they got the quarterback to flip last year. I can't remember the name off the top of my head here because I don't keep up Nebraska or Georgia recruiting that much unless Tennessee's going against them. But that was kind of a starter for Nebraska. That was a big thing for them. You get a guy like David Sanders, they're going all out in this one. But for Tennessee, so Ohio State got the last official visit. And we've seen the speculation. He's announcing August 17th. It'll be between one of those schools. And Ohio State has felt good. I know I've seen where some of their moderators have, I guess they did like a mock class, and they included David Sanders Jr. in it. From what I've seen on VolQuest specifically, Austin Price has stated he's liked where Tennessee was at as well. But he stated, he said he likes where Tennessee's at, but he said, I can understand why Ohio State has him in their mock class. And basically, from what I've seen from Tennessee mods, I would think, now I can't speak for them and they've not said this, but I would think if they did a mock class of Tennessee, they're going to include David Sanders Jr. in it as well. But for me, here's what I wonder about with it. All right. So let's say with a prospect like this, NIL is going to be a factor. I don't think it's a deciding factor. I don't think, I've seen it said that you'd probably be surprised at how many times that guys have, in Tennessee's instance, came to Tennessee and they did not offer the most NIL. Other schools offered the most. I don't think this is a Jordan Seaton from last year to where people thought he was coming to Tennessee, felt good up to the last minute in Colorado, kind of pulled the surprise off. I don't think it's much secret. They're tossing some money around at Colorado, but I don't think this is the case on this one. I really don't. I think Sanders is doing his due diligence, but also too, in this era, this NIL era, you're a top 5 consensus prospect. You're one of the top, if not the top offensive lineman on the board. You're very highly coveted offensive tackles. Don't grow on trees. We know how much Tennessee wants them. We know how much each of these teams wants them. NIL is going to be a factor. Could it be a case, you're coming back, you're going to Nebraska, you're coming back to Tennessee, NIL is going to be discussed to a point of what they will do. But I don't think it's as highest bidder gets David Sanders. I don't think it's at all. To me, the fact that Tennessee's getting the last visit, I've said this entire time when I've talked about David Sanders Jr., I don't know. All right. Nobody knows on this recruitment. Only people that know what's going on with David Sanders truly are David Sanders and his family. Any other stuff is, I think, it's educated guesses from whichever mods are talking about it. Obviously, I'm not a mod on a site. I'm just a guy. I don't have inside information. I read the tea leaves. I read from the people who are more in the know, of course, than I am on it. To me, though, putting it all together, going to Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State's still going to be a factor till the end, even though they're not getting a visit this week. They're still going to be a factor. Let's make no mistake about that. But I think Nebraska's more of a contender than we thought. But for me, the fact that he's coming back to Tennessee again after visiting here so many times, and the fact that Tennessee is going to get the final visit before he announces, I'm expecting on August 17th that George McIntyre is going to be a happy guy, along with Glenn Ellerby, who I put on there, who Glenn Ellerby is not getting enough credit last recruiting cycle last year, nor this one, for the offensive line guys that he's putting together. I know there was some talk on Ellerby for a couple years that he wasn't pulling his weight recruiting wise. He did very well last year. He's doing very well this year, and especially if you close like I think they will with David Sanders. This is going to be two excellent recruiting classes in a row. And I personally think that with David Sanders, you've got to be selling him on the potential that he can come in next year and start on this offensive line. I know it's not easy for a freshman to come in and start, but we've seen guys do it. I mean, we saw Wanye Morris and Darnell Wright starting under Jeremy Pruitt. They were brought in to start. We've seen it other times as well where freshmen have come in. I'm pretty sure they did it under Derek Dooley as well with Jawan. Oh, goodness. Why can I not think of his name? Jawan James. James Stone was starting at center. Zach Fulton, I'm pretty sure, was starting. You know, there's been instances over the years where freshmen have come in and played. With all Tennessee's losing, you're losing John Campbell, you're losing Javante Spraggins, you're losing Cooper Mays. If Jackson Lampley is the left guard, which I think he will be, you're losing him. You're losing Dane Davis. You're losing 5 of your top 6 offensive linemen. You're going to have Lance Hurd out there at left tackle. But David Sanders is going to have a real opportunity to come in next year and start. Now, the guys on campus will have some say-so in that as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee doesn't hit the portal also. But you've got to be selling these guys, and this recruiting class that they've got put together right now, offensive line-wise, is very good. It's very good. And, you know, if I go through it here, you've got, depending on where you're looking at, Douglas Utu out of Las Vegas. Consensus, he's a 4-star according to On3 and 24/7. ESPN and Rivals have him as a 5-star. So you've got him. You have Nick Moore out of Jefferson City. Consensus, I say he's 4-star on On3, 24/7, and ESPN. He's a 3-star on Rivals. It's thought he'll come in and possibly center for Tennessee. Antonio Agamura out of Oklahoma. Consensus 3-star, but I know his staff, from what I've read, really like him as well. You add Sanders to that. You couple that with last year's class plus Lance Hurd, who come in through the portal. Tennessee's building a powerhouse offensive line, and they're going to have a stout offensive line this year. But they're building one to where I don't know the draft, kind of the draft stock of the current guys on the line, but these dudes coming in, if you add Sanders to what they've already brought in, you're looking at potential starting to see some guys in this NFL draft go early on a regular basis on this offensive line. What Glenn Ellerby and his staff does, if they close it off, which I think they will, they're doing a heck of a job. They're doing a heck of a job building this line. But this is huge. This, to me, is huge when we saw that he was potentially taking visits. It was speculated with Nebraska. But I know I'd seen Austin Price say, I think if he goes to Nebraska, he comes to Tennessee also. And I think Will Fong was on that too. But, I mean, they work for the same company. I would bet you money these guys share information along the way. Big news for Tennessee, a big night. And, you know, as soon as this is going to be a big recruiting weekend for Tennessee. Some targets, some stuff. I'll have videos later on. You've probably seen some of the news already out here, and some of you probably seen this news already as well. But if you're a Tennessee fan, you got to be happy with what you're seeing. Hit that thumbs up if you like the content. Share it out. If you've not subscribed already, we're almost to 1,600, man. This is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Memberships are live, waiting on confirmation for Patreon. As little as $1 a month. Help support the channel. If you want to say thanks, give me a super thanks down there. Or you can give to that super thanks down the bottom right corner. Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. Last but most certainly not least, go Vols.